When I began the outdoor cabinet, I thought it was going to be a quick project. Finding free wood only added to the fun, despite having to take time to remove the nails. Anyway, well into the project, a friend told me cabinet making is not hard, but very detailed. So I guess you could say 3 weeks later, I was determined that this week would be the end of the project. So let's get started. In the last episode, the frame was completed and sides added, and I was now ready to start making the top of the cabinet. I decided to use some free tongue and groove cedar and simply use the back of the wood as the face. I also wanted a little overhang from the 38-inch body of the cabinet, so each length would be 42 inches long. That done, all I had to do was glue them together and make the top. Glue up, clamping, and weighing it down to keep the surface flat was my next order of business. I had to work fast because the glue dries quickly. I let that sit for a while and then began the process of adding the 2.5-inch lip that would give the illusion of the top being a lot thicker than it actually is. I always use a solution of white vinegar and water to clean up the glue, which cuts down on sanding and any stains the glue might leave later during staining. I just threw this part in because I always like using the Japanese saw to cut off edges. Enough of the fun stuff, and on to the work of making 3 passes over the top. First with 80 grit to level the top, followed by 120 grit to smooth it out, and finally 220 grit to complete the leveling and make the top smooth to the touch. It's work. If you followed me for a while, you know I like rounded over edges. So, more work. But all that work produces a decent looking finished product that is ready to be stained. Staining is a part I really enjoy because you begin to see the wood come to life as the stain highlights the grain and texture of the wood. I regard it as a type of magic. And the illusion is complete, as I now have what appears as a 2.5-inch top that I will set aside to dry as I move on to the next step of framing the sides. Framing the sides is primarily cosmetic, but it does add to the look of the piece and lets me know I'm getting close to the end of constructing the cabinet and can move finally to creating the doors for each side. Constructing the doors is like an episode of Back to the Future in that I do some quick calculations, cut to size, glue them up, clamp, add weights, and sand to taste. All that remains is adding supports, rinse and repeat for the second door. I could see the end in sight as I laid the doors against the cabinet to test the look. I attached the hinges and made a quick design for the doors that would match the top, and I was galloping toward the end. All that remained was to make the basket that would hold the fold-out trash container. I made the trash container with 3 sides so I would still have access to attach it to the supports on the back of the door, and simply use a small strip at the top of the basket to hold the trash container in place. And there we have the completed cabinet. I still have to stain the sides to match the outdoor bar and add a back, but the hard work is finally done. The project cost me $35 in materials, and I joke, $1,000 in labor. But I can move on to making another planter for the backyard garden. Oh yes, the bumblebees I found, I later learned they were not bumblebees at all, but carpenter bees. Yes, they are pollinators, but also do damage, as we saw in the free wood. See you next time.